So I bought a house this year and it got destroyed. Casey Neistat. Hi, my name is Andrei Jikh. Hope you're doing well. House update time. So this year I bought a house in Las Vegas, Nevada for $730,000. It's a 3-bed, 3-bath, 4,300 square foot house. Not that house, that was an April Fool's video. I'd never afford that house. But this house for $170 a square foot. And fun fact, I actually wanted to buy this specific house in 2014, but I couldn't afford it at the time. Fast forward 7 years later, and I bought the place. Andre, lifestyle inflation, you've changed. All right, so hear me out. This is really echoey, but I promise it's temporary. The reason it made so much financial sense to buy this house, even though it's so big, is because I need the space to hire a video editor, which I haven't done just yet, but I will as soon as I move in. And that's because I've been very fortunate and I was blessed by the YouTube algorithm, which is why I made a little bit more money and I had way too much cash. That's why I bought this house. It gives me the opportunity to diversify my investments away from broad market index funds and dividend stocks and crypto, and finally into real estate. Plus it gives me some protection against inflation, which we've had a lot of. But ever since buying this house, I've made every mistake imaginable and I've learned a lot along the way. So let me take you back to the beginning and show you exactly what happened. So here are some of the things that we ended up changing on the house. On the second floor of the house, it had outdated carpet flooring, which we replaced to LVT. It also had a dated fireplace that didn't even work, which we ended up removing completely. A really old looking kitchen with glossy cabinets with some of the appliances that didn't work, which we ended up replacing. And it also had a weird dungeon, which gave me 50 Shades of Grey vibes. Everybody knows that dungeons are supposed to be red. And the backyard didn't even make any sense because it had a useless rock formation display that ended up taking the entire space. But arguably the worst is that the primary bedroom that was upstairs was left as one giant open loft, which meant we didn't have any privacy, so that was a really hard problem to figure out. So this is my first house that I've ever bought. I've never done a remodel before, and let me tell you something. I've misunderestimated it. I just thought it was gonna be simple and straightforward. You pay money and things automatically happen. But the reality is it's been one step forward, two steps backwards. We've had issues, setbacks, delays, so I wanted to make this video in case you were wanting to do something similar, so I'll show you exactly all the mistakes that I've made, the things I've learned along the way, and ultimately how much it ended up costing me. So the first step in the process that I took was creating a budget. So I set the budget at $75,000, which I thought, yeah, that is a healthy budget. No, I wish I could time travel to the past and tell myself to dig deeper, because it ended up costing a lot more than I thought. The second step was to find consultants and general contractors that were experienced, cost effective, but most of all, actually available. Because remember, the pandemic created this huge boom in real estate, and Las Vegas was one of the cities that was very affected by all the people from all the major cities like San Francisco, Los Angeles, New York, coming here looking for the no state income taxes and the cheap real estate. And because most of the people that came here had their tech jobs, that meant they could work from home remotely and still keep their high six-figure salaries, which is more than double that of the average in Nevada. And that, of course, sent the prices through the roof, no pun intended. And on top of that, labor also became extremely expensive, because you have to remember that the government was paying people to stay at home. So obviously, it has to be worth people's time and then some to actually go out and work. So after months and months of looking around, I finally found an incredible team on Instagram of all places. Their names are Landon and Jesse Boakley. They're with the Boakley Group. They have incredible eye for design. Pretty much every listing they put out sold almost immediately. They've done over 200 flips. They're extremely experienced and they're in the Las Vegas area. So I decided to reach out and here's what happened. All right, we're gonna go to the Boakley brothers. The Beekles, the Boakleys. Okay, let's go in.
What's up? Dude, you're here.
How you doing?
I'm so stoked on this.
How's the air up there?
Oh, it's nice. It's nice up here. Come on in. Landon, Andre's here.
I'm like 3 feet tall in comparison.
Yo.
How you been, dude?
Good.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming by.
Excited for
I'm
this.
excited.
We have
Let's do
ideas, we have stuff to go over, so let's get to it.
All right, let's do
Bring it
this.
up?
Let's do this.
Right?
This is like casting couch, but realer. So it took about 2 weeks to plan everything out and get it finalized, and there were 4 major projects: the kitchen island, primary bathroom, and the room divider. There were also smaller projects like removing the closet, the fireplace, and getting new appliances. Landon and Jesse were really helpful here in helping getting everything started. All right, so now let's talk about the price of how much everything cost. This is my invoice right here, and the Vocally group were my consultants. Remember, consultants are more the eye for design. They're the ones helping you find the companies to actually do the work, and they're the ones who helped me find the GC, which is the general contractor. General contractors are the people who are actually responsible, and they're the ones leading your project. Now, whenever you hire a GC, you can expect to pay them anywhere between 10 to 20% of your entire project budget. My first invoice was for $19,200, which represented 21% of my project budget, which was way on the higher end of that. I thought that was a little too high, so after negotiating back and forth, I got them down to 18% or $14,000. So now let's go down line by line of how much I paid for everything. The work officially started on the 5th of March, where we started demoing the house. Now, the first invoice I paid was $10,000. I then had my second progress payment on March 9th for another $10,000 to cover material and labor. But then on March 30th, I paid for the kitchen cabinets and the upstairs cabinets, which cost a grand total of $16,500. This was not in the original $76,000 estimate. I added that because I wanted to change all the cabinetry in the house. Kevin, don't hate me, bro. I just wanted to increase the value of the home. He's not watching this video, he's too busy running for governor. The next item I paid for was the upstairs flooring, which cost $4,825 for roughly 1,500 square feet. I went with something called LVT, which stands for luxury vinyl tile. LVT looks like real wood, but unlike wood, it's actually waterproof, which means we could use it in the bathrooms. And because Las Vegas is so dry, having a real wood floor could crack the wood, and tile just gets too cold in the winter, and that's why we went with LVT. On March 30th, we paid another $10,000 for labor. The next big line item that I paid for was also not in the original invoice, and that was the room divider. Normally, we just put up a wall and maybe a door, but I didn't do that at all. Instead, here's what I did. This is extremely expensive to do because it has a lot of metal, glass, and even the framing alone cost $4,800. They had to build a pony wall, which could support the structure of this glass wall, and they even created a whole new wall that wasn't there before. I paid 50% of the invoice, which was a whopping $9,450 on April 28th, and then another progress payment for $10,000 on April 29th. Another thing I've learned is that concrete is expensive, and I have concrete floors in the main living area. So when we got rid of the fireplace and we changed the shape of the kitchen island to an L, we discovered that there was something underneath. It was another concrete residue that we had to diamond cut, buff it, and match it to the existing concrete floor, which cost an additional few days and $1,400. I then paid the rest of the 50% for the glass wall divider as well as the glass enclosure for the primary bathroom, which was an additional $18,930. Glass can get very expensive the larger it gets. You can divide it into multiple sections, but I think there's a huge visual difference. The last payment I made was another $10,000. This brings the total to $105,905, which I know seems like a lot, but that's only because it's a lot. We're now 3.5 months in, and my wallet is officially on fire. So here's what I've learned. The first and most important thing I learned is that there is no end to how much money you could theoretically end up spending on projects like this. Because one of the ideas we had was to put a glass wine display box in the living room, and originally it was costing me $7,000. But by the time the glass was spec'd out with the wine, with the shelves and everything else, it ended up costing $17,000. And at that point, I had to draw the line and say, I would rather just use that money towards finishing the backyard. Another idea we had was to put a fireplace in the living room, but I live in a townhouse and we have HOA rules and my neighbors would hate me. I would also rather just save a couple $1,000s. Once you start ambitious projects like this is the most common mistake you'll make. Well, I might as well, we paid this much, we got this far, let's do it right. And I'm no different, because as soon as we opened up the walls in the house, we also learned that we had a little bit of mold in the guest bedroom. And the thing about mold is that once you see it, you have to open up more walls to see where else it could have gone. And as soon as you do that, that leads to problems, which leads to even more problems. And what I learned is that there is no chemical on earth that can destroy mold. The only thing that can truly destroy mold is fire. And since I don't want to burn my house down, I learned that the best thing you can do is buy a spray called concrobium, which looks like this. And as soon as you spray it, it crystallizes the mold and stops it from spreading everywhere else. As soon as you do that, you cut out the insulation and everything around that area, you replace it, and that's how you get rid of it. That's the best anyone can do, but luckily that's also something you can do yourself. I also learned that we have a leak coming in from the outside to the inside guest bedroom, which means more lampas bread. But wait, there's more, because as soon as we bought the house, our 75-gallon water heater broke, which meant another $6,000 to replace it with a tankless water heater, which is a lot more reliable. The saving grace is that Corey's dad, Jesse, is a repairman and he's helped us out a lot. He's been doing this for several decades and he saved us a ton of money, so thank you, Jesse, for helping us out. But if I had stuck to my original game plan of not putting in the fancy room divider and the fancy kitchen cabinets with the soft close feature, I would have saved something like $40,000, which would have put me at a rough estimate of $75K, which is exactly what I started with. The reason I bring all of this up is because that's why I made a YouTube video talking about why home ownership is not for everyone all the time. Because when comparing renting versus buying, you have to be truthful and honest with yourself. And the answer is never as straightforward as people think it is. Renting is throwing money away, you should buy. And the truth is, the real answer is, it depends. Most people forget that when you own something, you have a lot more pride in it. And what you end up renting is very different than what you'll end up buying, your dream home. And what you end up doing to your rental is very different than what you'll end up doing to your forever home. And this is a good example. I've been living in this rental for 6 years. Now this is something I've never renovated. It looks old, it's dated, and I don't care. I pay $1,400 a month for a 3-bed, 3-bath, 2,000 square foot house split between 3 people. My share of that is $495, and this is what allows me to save so much money to finally buy the house that I want and afford the renovations and the maintenance costs. But if you're still on the fence and you're in a similar position to me and you're not sure whether it's better to rent or buy, I'll include an incredible calculator from the New York Times which takes everything into consideration, from the price growth to the taxes, maintenance costs, and most of all, the opportunity costs associated with buying and how much money you'd end up having instead if you were to just rent and then invest the difference. It's really incredible, it's absolutely free, so please use it. So far, we're 3.5 months into this project, which is way overdue, no thanks to the supply chain disruption of COVID, and the total out-of-pocket cost has been roughly $106,000, which does not include the appliances or the furniture. If I could do this all over again, before starting this project, I would have collected all of the materials I wanted to use for the house, from the kitchen cabinets, to the countertops, to the backsplash, to the appliances, and everything else in between. That way it would save a lot of time. And sometimes when things get done, you're like, I did not pick this bullnose trim right here. I would have also started a group chat between myself, the general contractor, and every single company that he's hiring. I know it's not your job to do that as a client, but trust me, it's gonna save you so much time, headache, stress, and money if everyone is on the same page. That way, anytime you hire someone new, flooring, group chat, plumbing, group chat, painting, group chat. That way, the guy who's doing your electrical work doesn't get left out of the conversation when they seal up the drywall and now he can't do his job. So wish me luck, we're just a few weeks away, we're almost done. I'm super excited to show you the finished product, but in the meantime, help me make some of that money back. Please go get up to $250 worth of free Bitcoin using the BlockFi link right here, blockfi.com/Andre. Go get those 2 free stocks with Webull. When you deposit $100 using the link down below, you can get up to 2 free stocks, each of which can be valued up to whatever it is they're promoting at the time. And once you do, go track them automatically with the spreadsheet link down below in my Patreon. Go check out Landon and Jesse Boakley's YouTube channel. It's incredible. You're gonna learn a lot about real estate, from flipping, remodeling, investing. It's awesome. In the meantime, love you. I'll see you back here on Monday and Friday, sometimes a Wednesday. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.